to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Well. I know, right? They told us they're recording and they don't give us anything. We're back. As creepy as I can make that sound. Well, if you tried to watch last week, I apologize again. I tried. I don't know what happened. It just went somewhere. It went to Never Never Land. But thus, here we are. Here we are again, a week later after the non-episode. That doesn't exist, really. Athletics LLC, back at it. Got these three other lovely tiles/gentlemen joining me for another fun night of discussions. So after we introduce them, we'll get started. Sir Lucious, how are you doing today, sir?
I am absolutely fabulous. I'm a newly crowned resident of the state of Oregon, and
right, your residency is up next week or established next week.
Exactly.
No sales tax, baby. Get them.
Exactly.
I know, right? And you're right by the Nike employee store. I mean, shoot, what else do you need in life? You got Wild Duck and Nike store.
Wild Duck.
Clyde, how are you, sir?
I'm good. In Eugene, hanging out.
That crisp Oregon air.
Enjoying the perfect weather, and I do mean that.
Man. Once again, us in the Midwest are suffering this cold spell. WTF. Last but not least, father of teens, enlighten us, sir.
I hate this term, but my stepson's birthday is today. He turned 13. So now I have multiple children underneath my wing who are teenagers or above. Yeesh.
Kind of feel like I deserve that for some reason. I don't know.
What'd you say? You feel like what?
Kind of feel like that's deserved somehow. The universe is.
I mean,
probably as you should be.
Probably. I'm definitely starting to think like an older person too, which is very bizarre.
All I heard was puberty.
Yeah, pretty much.
It happens.
Oh,
pretty much.
Gosh. Well, let's go ahead and get started with the theatrics for the evening. Talking about the biggest elephant of the rooms and where two of our lower tiles are. Olympic Trials Weekend 1. What?
Boom.
What?
Okay. All I want to say is this. Fred Curley tell everybody to shut up. That was the big thing. Like, hey, let me do what I do. I'm not only going to make the team, I'm going to run 986 or 984 or whatever it was.
86.
Yeah. Just, a phenomenal run, by the way. That was the biggest takeaway from the weekend for me. Obviously, we'll get into some other stuff, but right away, the men's 100 was phenomenal. Trayvon Bromell, Clyde's pick all along, I'll give you props there, was phenomenal. Ronnie Baker got it done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was very nice. And then even Kenny Bednarik, who I don't think anybody saw run a 989, got it done. So the men's 100 was phenomenal, I thought. It really was.
I don't remember the exact stat. I'm sure I'm going to get this wrong. But the men's 100 was the fastest American final of all time.
Yes.
I think I saw that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
it was the most Americans under 991 in the same race ever.
Yes.
Jeez.
In a year where everybody, righteously so, felt that the men's 100-meter team might be, a little weak, might be having some problems, seems not to be the case.
Not be the case at all.
So, As usual, our sport finds a way to flip the script on a lot of narratives, and I think hilariously so. The universe deleted our first weekend prediction show last week, of which I'm pretty sure none of us had Fred making the team. And you know, I think if I remember it correctly, all of us took a very wait and see kind of approach to that. And you know,
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Just, I mean, listen, when that news was announced, you basically had three pockets of people. You had like the 10% of like hardcore Fred Curley fans that was like, this is genius, he's the next Bolt. And then you had the vast majority that thought he was an idiot. And then you had some people in the middle that were like, kind of, I'm gonna wait and see. We took the wait and see approach, but very, very few people thought it was a good idea. I definitely wasn't one of those people. I took the wait and see approach. And hey, man, you got to give the dude props for the track and field version of betting on himself, because let's be real, from a business standpoint, making the 100-meter team is a hell of a lot bigger deal than making the 400-meter team. And that dude, you know, bet on himself and made it happen, much to a lot of people's shock. So, you know, standing ovation to Mr. Curley. And now that whole crew's got to go out there and do it one more time and come back with some hardware. But it seems to me that all three of them are in a very good position to do that. I mean, you know, it's been a while. This might be the strongest 100-meter team we've sent to the games in a minute. And no one saw that coming at the beginning of the year. So, hey, great to watch. Great weekend.
You know, I think there's two things I think are very interesting about this. One, at the beginning of the year, if I told you what the 3 times were going to be to make the team, you would have said, yeah, that sounds about right. For sure, Noah would have run one of those times, right? For sure. You might have guessed that Trayvon was third, right? I don't know who any of us would have picked, but I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't have picked Trayvon to win. You might have, right? But I don't think really anybody else would have picked Trayvon to win. None of us would have picked Fred at the beginning of the year, because hell, he wasn't running the 100 at the beginning of the year. And I find that all very interesting. I also find it an interesting takeaway that Fred Curley's 100-meter PB is the same as Carl Lewis's. Just let that wash over you.
Right.
Like, just let that right there wash over you. That Fred Curley's been running the 100 for like 11 minutes, and his 100-meter PB is the same as the guy that was the GOAT before Bolt.
And if you're gonna, you know, delve into the weird, just how strange the 100-meter current dynamic is, I mean, let's be real. Most people would say that 2 of America's top 3 400-meter runners happen to be on the 100-meter team.
Yeah.
Or I should say 400-meter talents, because everybody thought that about Fred Curley, and most people feel that way about Kenny.
They do it.
I feel like Kenny's 9, and I think I said this to Sir Lucious after it happened. I feel like Kenny Bednaric's 989 says the most about the current state of affairs, because I don't think any of us are really sure where this Fred thing is going, right? Like, is he moving to the 100, or is he going to try to run 42 seconds? Like, I don't think any of us really know. But I think we're all 100% convinced that Kenny Bednaric's 989 means he's going to go after 1920. Do you know what I mean? Like, the 200 is his race. He's going to run some 4s. He obviously has shown you he can run some 1s. But at some point in time, like, that cat's trying to run under 19 seconds. And it's pretty obvious that that's where that's going.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
That's what I like about that.
Yeah. I'm not sure Kenny ever runs a 4 again. And
yeah, maybe not.
And if you're Fred, why would you go back to the 4? Because as Clyde just said, the money's in the 100. You know, and you're a 9.8 guy. Paydays are really nice when you're a 9.8 guy. 9.8 guy gets paid a lot more money than a 43 second guy.
I mean, It's just true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also a big world record last week.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
you know,
I think like he just wants to tease us. He keeps trying to throw it out of this. It was just retarded.
oh no, they're gonna have to
Sector,
build
yeah.
new sectors. Listen, they're gonna have to build new sectors because
He just said not enough.
listen,
And the beauty of it was he knew it as soon as he let it go.
There it is. That was
Yeah.
the best part.
No.
that was
Yeah.
by far the best part.
Yes.
The best part. He was like, let me show y'all how to applaud a world record because it's coming.
I have a question for you though.
Oh
Who was
yeah,
second?
we need to get
Who
into
was
this.
Who was second?
Joe hasn't called me, but he
Who was
should.
second? Who was second?
You know, the defending world
Congratulations to Joe Kovacs. That was amazing. He did an incredible job. Big homie not making the team on at the end, won't lie, like I borderline shed a tear on that one. Not about the pick, it's about the person. That was tough. That was tough. It's not the Peyton Otterdahl's not, he's a beast. It's not that he's not worthy, right? It's not like that's not a slight of Peyton Otterdahl, but like I know Big Homie really well. I know what he's been through. I know how hard he's worked. And sometimes you just like to see that work out for somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like he's a perfect example of like how hard the US team is to me.
Yes.
I think, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this. It's the Olympic trials. We're all nerds. We're all fans of the sport. You know, in this setting, for the most part, most of the event side fields have 32 people, which means only 3 are making the team. So in every event, we have people who we are rooting for personally, and when you watch them, fail at that mission, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
Like for me, on that particular day, Darrell Hill not making that team, I was like, oh, and it's not like, I mean, it was right. It was just right there.
1 inch.
3 centimeters.
Yeah. And so that, on that particular day, that was really, really tough, for me personally, because I'm a big fan of that dude. I know a lot of people are. So, and he's a monster, and he'll bounce back. But that one was tough to take, but a phenomenal competition across the board. And just what Krauser was out there doing was just disrespectful to everybody. I mean, but beautiful to watch. And I mean, my God, 23:37.
He broke the world record by almost a foot.
I mean, listen, the whole throws world applauds that because that record was as dirty as a record can be. Well, no, I mean, the man tested positive not long thereafter, but the way we did records now and then is different, right? So they didn't eradicate the performance because it happened before the drug test. Like in today's world, they would have eradicated the performances of that season and it would have gone away. So like literally that record is dirty and it always has been. But I think we're all just like, how far can this dude really throw? Because like he's just throwing far because he can. Like there's no, like when you get to the Olympics and he might think that maybe possibly he could lose, where like there's some adrenaline to that too, bruh.
Well, I'm not joking.
24 meters is gonna happen.
I'm not joking at all. If you watch the competition, if you watch the replay, Ryan Krauser is going to force people to go build different sectors because he's almost throwing it out of the current sectors. Like,
yeah, I mean, the sector's 80 feet.
Well,
right. No, exactly.
85 feet now.
I'm gonna need a 90-foot sector because it's going to land.
We'll start at 85. No, we don't need 90 just yet, but it might be coming. Yeah.
I'm just man.
Well, before we move on to bigger and better things, I do want to give a personal shout out to my compatriots. the U.S. decathlon has taken a beating from the rest of us in the decathloning world, because Ashton like ran away and hid, and nobody ever got consistently better behind him. And we kept saying, well, when Ashton retires, we're going to go back to zero. And we did in a lot of ways. And to go to watch the US trials and watch 9 guys score over 8,000 at the trials, I was like standing at attention and saluting, because that's what it's supposed to be. Right? Like the Thorpe Cup team that we are going to take, you know, the 4th through 10th is actually a beast squad again. Finally, we're not going to have like 10th place be 75-20 or something. And that, as a former decathlete in this country, that makes me proud. And I was ridiculously juiced at where the event is, like when you look at the age of the guys that were in the top 10. Right? Like we stole one back from football. That never happens. Like we lost the guy to the NFL. He was like, we're coming back. Trained really hard. This is what I need people to understand. Listen, that dude jumped 5'15" in the pole vault, and he threw over 50 meters in the discus. That doesn't happen because you're naturally talented. Those things require training, a fair amount of it. And so like I give my full-fledged applause to the entire group of American decathletes at this point, because they seem to have righted the ship and are on the right path.
Well said. It was very exciting to watch, you know, and even follow from the warm-up area and even before we got to the track. You know, I happen to know Garrett very well. He's from Florida. He went to high school at Episcopal High School in Florida. Because he's a volunteer assistant at Georgia, I saw him compete in a lot of indoor meets and stuff this year. He told me when I saw him in January, he's like, Coach, I'm making this team. And he said, I'll be with you in Tokyo. And I'll see you in Tokyo, brother. We'll see you there.
Standing ovation to the decks. It was an amazing competition and fun to watch. When all the places are doing high level stuff, it's always better. Yeah, always better.
And speaking of, you know, the women's 100 was pretty nice. She kind of ran off in head, but the story of the race for me was Javion Oliver. And, you know, Dennis Mitchell coaches both Sha'Carri and Javion. So, you know, first of all, big props to Dennis and the job he did there. But Javion was, I mean, phenomenal from the first round. And the number of people who were in the back watching who thought she wasn't going to make it, I thought it was laughable. You know, I'm like, if I'm a betting man, I took all y'all's money, because you could tell from the moment she stepped on the track, she was on a mission. You know, and then also, you know, give kudos to Edric Floriel for coaching the 3rd and 4th place finishers. So Dennis and Edric kind of took over the 100 last weekend on the women's side. So it was a great race. Tiana Daniels and Jenna Prandini.
I think the women's 100 is interesting for a few reasons. I mean, first of all, we have 3 first-time Olympians on the team. I don't know when the last time it was that happened, but it hasn't happened in a really long time. So, you know, the women's 100 in this particular instance is very much a changing of the guard there. And, you know, that's always interesting and fun to watch. I, too, was most impressed with Javion Oliver. I figured she would make the team. I didn't know what place or whatever, but she's been running really well all year. And to see her put it together when it mattered the most and get herself through the rounds in the way that she did, I thought she was really, really impressive. Everybody, you know, Sha'Carri was the overwhelming favorite. It was her show to either, you know, explode through or have a tragic, you know, letdown. And she arrived every round. It was never in doubt. She blew everybody away and deserves, you know, the props and the respect of now being truly, like, for me now it's a conversation. Now it's, what can this girl do against the Jamaicans, against Dina, against the other, against Blessing, against the other world elite 100-meter runners, because now she's the US champion. Now she has a title that she's walking in there with, that she earned. You know what I mean? It's not pre-crowning her anymore. She owns that crown now. She's the America's best. So now she has to go in there and do something with it. And by all accounts, she looks like she's ready to do that. But, you know, Tiana Daniels, like, a lot of people, I don't think she's getting the respect that she deserves right now. People forget in 2019, because Sha'Carri ran the 10-7 and NCs, everybody paid attention to that, and rightfully so. But Miss Daniels was the NCAA athlete who won the American title in 2019. She was the last defending American champion in that race. And for her to, you know, deal with COVID like everybody else had to, and come back and put herself on that team when a lot of people probably wasn't imagining that she'd be there, was impressive. And it speaks to her, you know, her competitive nature and the fact that she knows how to race when the lights are on. And so, you know, props to her. Like, I thought that was very, very cool.
And then we also saw, you know, two very good 400-meter races. First of all, you know, props to Derek White and Quinera Hayes, man. Wow. Talk about a great story. You know, she was what, 2017 USA champion, I believe. And then they
right.
had a baby, got married, then had a baby, to put that in the right order. And her and Derek weren't together, you know, as coach and athlete, and then she came back to Derek. And you know, I happened to see him at meet Tom Jones earlier this year, and he told me he thought that she was on her way to 49 low, 48 high. It looked like she just really might be on that path. But the women's 400, I mean, 50.8 was eighth. You talk about another deep race, and you know, it's crazy because the last two girls were both collegians, who both ran big PBs. So that was nice to watch as well.
Yeah, look again, cool little nuances within the final results, right? The women's 400-meter team is Quinera Hayes, Allison Felix, and Wadelin Jonathas. In Quinera Hayes and Wadelin Jonathas, you have two women who definitely did not start out their collegiate careers, or in Hayes' case, end them at these big power programs, right? Quinera Hayes comes out of Division II, Livingston College, I believe it's called.
Livingstone, maybe?
Livingstone in North Carolina.
I'm not sure. That's a guess. But.
Right. And Wadelin Jonathas was a D3 product that ended up transferring to South Carolina. Alma mater, Gamecocks, props to you, right? And then the GOAT, Allison Felix, making her 5th Olympic team. You couldn't have a more wide range of paths to making this current Olympic team. And all three of those women have just incredibly unique stories, all of which have value and all of which deserve attention. I thought one of probably the coolest moment of weekend one was the accident that was Quinera Hayes' son and Allison Felix's daughter meeting on the field in their toddler stage, right?
Yes.
Like, that's cool. And of course, Allison, being who she is, gets the lion's share of the mommy narrative attention. But her story is no more valuable than Quinera Hayes' story of motherhood and what it took to fight back and land there. So I think all of that is cool. And I think all those stories need to be told. But all three of those women, very unique paths. And I hope in the build up to the Olympics that they all get the attention that they deserve.
Yes. I don't want to beat that story to death because I think it was way too well said just now. But I before we move on, because I know we're going to change topics here, can we just take a breath, everybody, and go back and watch all three rounds of the women's 100 hurdles? And I say that because I don't think people really understand how hard the U.S. women's team is to make in the 100 hurdles, right? Like 12-8 got you damn near nothing in the first round.
That's right.
Right? Like if you showed up and ran 12-8 thinking you was going to feel good about yourself, you was biting all your nails, doing all kinds of praying just so that you could run the next day and get your face punched in. Right? Because 12-8 is definitely doing nothing in the semis.
And 1260 doesn't make the final, right?
Right, right. And the craziest thing is there was 3 babies in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
3 teenagers in that group. Like if we were to send a squad to World Juniors this year, hey, we're going 1, 2, 3 in the 100 hurdles. Those are facts. Those are facts. And if we sent those 3 babies as the Olympic team, we're going to probably win a medal or 2. So I just look, I know who made the team. I know all the stuff that went into it, but I'm just saying this. That entire event group deserves praise and honor because the people who are coaching the women's 100 hurdles and the people who are running women's 100 hurdles are A++ students and instructors at this point. Because if you know anything about the races and you know anything about the times around, like globally, what these people are doing, the mission that they're going after is truly mission impossible.
It's still the hardest game on the planet.
Yes, it is.
And
it's not close. It's not close.
And coming into the start of the women's hurdles, there are people out here who thought that maybe it was going to take a back seat a little bit. Like maybe it wasn't as tough as it's been. Nope. Nope. It's as tough as it's ever been. And to your point there, sir, I want to point out one baby in particular, because I've been just thoroughly impressed all year with this young lady. And she battled at the Olympic trials. And that's Raynia Jones of Central Florida.
Yes.
Right.
Ain't a boom.
Yeah.
That girl went out there, ran 12:68, win legal, and finished 10th.
Right.
Unfazed, not scared, just out there battling medalists, world record holders, just right there, sticking her nose in there and battling all the way through. That young lady's future is extremely bright. And obviously props, props and proper attention need to go to the people who actually, qualified for the team, especially, Kenny Harrison, the world record holder, who everybody knows the story about what happened in 2016. She finally broke through it and got that mission done. And we're all excited to see that. But honestly, in the final, the one who I was most impressed with, the most impressive woman in the final was Gabby Cunningham.
Absolutely.
Gabby Cunningham PR'd in every round.
All 3 rounds.
And if not for, leaning at the line technique, had 3rd place. Go back and watch the film. 2 steps out, she had that. Gabby Cunningham ran an incredible series of rounds, and props, standing ovation to her and Alan Johnson.
Yes.
The GOAT.
Yes.
The GOAT who has taken this young lady and molded her into something extremely real. Extremely real. Like, I was thoroughly impressed with Gabby Cunningham.
I mean, if you look at the women's final, you even look at Christina Clemens, who's been up and down. She PR'd in the semifinal at 12:51, and it was her miraculous lunge that got her into the 3rd position. Like you said, we know everything that Kenny's been through. Obviously, Bry's been through a lot, who finished 2nd, and I think that it's just, again, a wonderful group of women. And I just enjoyed the warm-up period. Watching the warm-up was phenomenal. So it's really excited to watch those young ladies compete. I want to give a shout out to Will Clay. A lot of people don't know that a year ago, Will had a torn Achilles, and for him to come back and fight through and make the team. And then to your boy Donald Scott, father of teams, that's your boy, that's your guy. I also I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer here and give a shout out to my girl Corey McGee for making the 1500 meter team in a 4-second personal best. So
like a force. Let's just call that what that is. Like Corey McGee left no doubt. Like from 100 meters in, she's like Corey McGee was on the squad. Right. She's like, y'all can do whatever y'all want to with these other 2 spots. One of those belong to me.
Yeah.
And so with Fred Curley choosing to step down and run the 100, there was a lot of, what's that going to mean in the men's 4? Well, Michael Norman stepped out there and handled the business that we all expected him to handle. But again, who was I most impressed with? The people behind him. Michael Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Cherry has arrived. He's in the right hands.
John Smith.
Do not sleep on Michael Cherry a month from now.
Nope.
Like
nope, don't do it.
Telling you, don't sleep on Michael Cherry a month from now. And then of course, listen, there's been a lot of debate this week in person on social media about the NCAA timing with the Olympic trials and all this other stuff. Look, the cream rises to the top. The people that know how to get it done, get it done. It was incredibly difficult for Randolph Ross to do what he did at NCAAs and then double back on an opening weekend and find a way to make this team. Doesn't matter that he ran 43 high last time and ran 44 high this time. Doesn't matter. At the trials, the times are not relevant. It's 1, 2, 3, and he found a way to get it done. So props to
from back
getting on the team.
Yeah.
What I liked most about Randolph Ross's run is, if you all the people on this show are students of the game, right? So we watch races differently. But for the casual fan that watches the show, what you need to understand is the way Randolph Ross ran that race is going to produce medals, because he's the fastest guy in the last 100. And that's always a horse that leaves with a medal. Now, to win a gold medal, you got to do some things a little different and whatever. I understand that. But
and he won't have the relays in the open
he won't
from the week before in his leg.
Right. He won't have all that stuff in his legs.
Yeah, in 6 weeks.
Right. And also he won't have the giant PR in his legs, because let's be honest, right? Like, people forget, like, anytime you run down a brand new street, it's different. And to run 43, not even like super high, like 43.8.
Yeah.
That'll take some sting out. But
so to kind of piggyback on Clyde's discussion of the 6 spots in the Olympic team in the 400, 3 of them raced BCU.
Mm-hmm.
No.
True.
And then another race that I thought was phenomenal, the men's 800.
Okay, see, I was waiting on that, because look, there's a lot to unpack there.
A whole lot.
There's a lot to unpack with the men's 800. No performance eclipses a world record. Okay, so performance of the weekend goes to Mr. Kraus, but coaching job of the weekend for me is all about Jabri Harris and Isaiah Jewett and that men's 800. Like, I was inspired watching that kid run. Like, that, man, that's
a definition of trusting your coach.
Yeah, because you watch the race model, it was clear they had a plan. He executed it to the end. And, and again, great job by those 2. But man, Clayton Murphy looked good. Wow. Yeah. He's got his confidence back. He's got his swagger back. And that guy is a threat at the meet.
Clayton Murphy looked
Clayton
like
Murphy he's a medalist, and he looked like a medalist.
Yes, he did.
Like what Isaiah Stewart did, you could see the points where he just changed gears on purpose and dared everybody to do something about it. Clayton Murphy intelligently knew what he had and methodically waited and ran it down and won the event in a world leading time, 1:43.17. Jewett 1:43.85, and then of course Hoppel 1:44.1, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the winning time in 2016, 1:44.1. So they all elevated that. But look, man, Donovan Brazier finished last. That's the upset of the weekend. That is my God. Like, that's the most tragic thing I saw this weekend was Donovan Brazier failing to make that team.
You know how we talk about things are hard to watch?
Apparently he's hurt. So.
And it looked like it because when he was trying to come home, like, look, we all of us know. I mean, you've watched him all year. Like, he's not fit, right? And when you see the man going to gears and pushing buttons and you know,
they're not there.
There's not enough lithium crystals and nothing's happening. So it's like,
well, apparently,
there's clearly something wrong.
He has plantar fasciitis, so he couldn't. Pretty painful. Yeah.
Well, okay, so if he has plantar fasciitis, which would be tragic, in that event, do you step out there that way?
You have no choice.
I mean, it's the Olympic trials. I mean, it's you trained for 4 years for this. You know, we all remember that he was a bit of a bust at the last trials.
And that's why it was tragic, right? Because in 2016, when this happened, when he was the overwhelming favorite to make the team and do whatever he does, for the most part, he got a pass on that because he was young.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was an overwhelming favorite to make the team. I think that I mean, just as Father of Teams just said, I mean, he had a kind of an out of body experience at the NCAA that year, and I just don't think he ever recovered from it. I don't think people understand how hard it is when you're a 145 guy and you just go run 143. You don't recover from that right away.
But my point is, no one criticized him for that one.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No one criticized him for that one.
Right. I'm just saying he wasn't an overwhelming favorite in my mind. Anyway.
Right. But he's the best in the world now.
Exactly. But again, clearly he's hurt. There's something wrong. That wasn't a choke. I mean, we saw him through. I thought he was going to be okay because he got through the rounds all right. But it was clear when he tried to go right at the 400-meter mark, that it just wasn't there. And you could, if you watch it closely, you can see him favoring one side of his body. So.
Oh yeah, because he tried to follow Jewett when Jewett put his foot in the ground at 400.
No, but Jewett was already gone.
He was already in front, but Jewett changed the gear with 400 to go.
Yeah, Jewett took off with him.
Right, yeah, he tried to go with him.
Yeah, and Brazier tried to make a move at 400, and it just wasn't there.
But that was the hardest thing personally for me to watch because I'm a fan of Brazier. And I think he's phenomenal, and he's absolutely the best on the planet right now in that event. And he's not going. And that is how brutal our system is.
Yeah.
That's why our system is the best. But man, does it take some heads? And that was tough to watch.
The last time go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the last time I saw something like that happens when Dan O'Brien didn't make the 92 Olympic team. The last time somebody that big of a favorite without, like, there weren't three guys, you know what I mean, that were going to put Donovan off the team. Does that make sense? Sure. And Dan was in that same spot, right? Like, yeah, you might not win the trials, but there's not three guys in the US that are going to beat you. And that's just painful to watch. Like, it wasn't hard for me to watch in 92 because I was 11th in the meet. So like, you know, like I was a baby, like that was my third decathlon ever. So I didn't even know what was going on. But, you know, as you go through life and you become an Olympian and you watch all this stuff happen, you're just like, that's really, really hard to watch. When you watch a great champion in his prime,
yes,
not make, in all honesty, look, this is a prime Olympic time for him, right? Yeah. Like right now, healthy, he's probably the gold medal favorite. And, you know, yeah, the window is much smaller than normal. It's only 3 years and you got a world championship and, you know, like you got a lot of good stuff between now and then. It's still 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, like it's still 3 years from now.
Yeah.
Lot can change in that time. And for me, I got to get this in here as far as weekend one goes. It was also really hard for me to watch Justin Gatlin go out on his shield the way he did. That was tough for me. It was, if you really, really looked at the semifinal, you could tell he did something to his leg towards the tail end of that. And if you've been watching Justin over the years, you know he has a very specific demeanor before a big race, before a final.
Yeah.
And standing on the line for the final, you knew that Justin knew that he wasn't going to get down the track that way. But it's Justin, and so he went out on his shield. He knew his leg was going to go, but he went out there and did it anyway, and gave a real effort through the first half of that race. That, and if you see his flow track interview after the fact, like, that's tough, man. Like, Justin been through a lot, and yeah, he's 39, and the COVID year probably didn't help him at all. But to see him go out on a shield like that, I respect the hell out of it. But it was tough to watch.
Give mad props and respect, and I just hope that everybody doesn't. That's not how we want to remember Justin Gatlin.
No.
Yeah.
That's what he deserves, a better exit than that.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know we're moving on. The one thing that was really weird to me to watch, it was to watch the men's triple, because it's like literally two sides of the COVID coin, right? If the Olympics happens last year, Will's not in it and Christian is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the Olympics happen this year and Will's in it and Christian isn't. And that was just weird to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I love Will. And obviously Donald's, there was always room for Donald. So, like, I never had to worry about it. But, like,
well, we talked about that in the stands a little bit. Like, how interesting of a meet would that have been if Christian and Omar were both
right.
Man.
Right.
Now somebody jumps 56 and they're sitting at home.
Right.
Not so much sitting at home.
So it was an interesting event to watch. Well, what else we got, Chu?
Yeah, so we are going to recover a topic from last week, our lost episode, and reveal our final Athletics LLC Bowerman picks. So it might feel like deja vu for the titles, but here are the three picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
wants to go first?
I feel some personal heat there.
I mean, technically we both have personal heat on this one, but
yes.
But in the spirit of time and cooperation with the rules, I'm gonna go ahead and amend mine. So you go ahead with your alternative picks.
Oh, I thought Big League was going to read them in the interest of time.
No. We doing this. Go ahead.
I'm definitely not going first because I can't even remember right now.
You don't remember your Bowerman picks?
I mean, yes, I do, but I don't want to stammer and stutter. So
all right.
Got it.
I guess I'll go.
Okay.
So are we starting with the women and snaking back?
Yes, please.
Okay. So for the women, on the lost episode, I stood up and banged the drum for 5 because I wanted 5, and since and some other people have been breaking rules in this all year, I said I'm taking 5, but I'm back that down and just go ahead and give you my 3. My dais for the Bowerman to me is pretty cut and dry. It's a thing Moo should already have the Bowerman. Thing Mo, I'm sorry, should already have the Bowerman at her house. I think she needed the 400-meter championship under her belt to justify it, but now that she has that, she also has a hand in 7 NCAA records in a single year. And
that's so crazy.
She is the undisputed GOAT of NCAA female track and field, and it should already be at her house. However, you need 2 more on the dais for proper respect, and I think that Miss Giddens and her exploits throughout the season absolutely deserve to be there. In any other year, she might be a runaway, but 7. So. And my third person who I believe absolutely deserves to be there is Miss Cameron Rogers of UC Berkeley. And you can call that a homer pick, but go study the tape, go look at the utter assault that she has taken on the hammer event and set her own NCAA record twice. And I think Cam's phenomenal, and the distance that she put on a record that a lot of people didn't think was going to get broken, I think matters. And I think you have to have her on that stage.
Yeah, I'm actually I'll go second, and I think my top two are the same as yours, with Miss Mo and Miss Giddens, and I know last week I had put the 100-200 champion, Miss Sturgis as my third, but I'm amending my pick, and I'm going to put Miss Tara Davis as my third pick this week. When you rank indoors and outdoors, I'm not going to disrespect like that Tara. Yeah, so Tara Davis is my third pick.
I see. Well, I can't count to three, so
that Cal College
Here we
education.
go.
so Tara Davis and Miss Cameron Rogers are my third pick.
Oh, you going
'Cause I
extra
don't-
rule breaking this time?
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. My second pick, only because I can't pick a thing mo twice, is gonna be Miss. You know, it's so unfortunate. Like sometimes we make these conversations about like people with bad birthdays. Like Tyra Gittens is not winning the Bowerman, and she literally is a Grand Canyon better than everybody else except the thing mo. But to Clyde's point, seven collegiate records in 1 year as a freshman is just like, there's not a conversation, right? Like, and that just kind of is what it is. Tyra Giddens had a ridiculous year. And, you know, that's just how it is. But a thing mo is, look, keep all the video of a thing mo you can from this year collegiately, because you will never see a female collegiate athlete better. And I never thought I'd ever say that about anybody other than Jackie, because when Jackie was in college, I didn't think that kind of talent was ever going to be in college again. And yeah,
Here we are.
and here we are. I mean, honestly, much better than any other female ever. So,
while you're on it, what are your men's picks?
Well,
he's already shaking his head.
I mean, we already know I can't count to three.
At all.
I mean, we already know.
You need
I
to
can't
give your
count.
degree back.
No, my degree is in political economies of industrialized society with a minor in education. Clearly,
Exactly.
I'm
Give it back.
verbose, right? We stretch it out. So, you know, like, look, if I could give Bowerman like other thing, I don't know what it would be. Like you know how the Heisman has the Maxwell Award, you know what I mean? Like if they had like a Bowerman-esque thing that wasn't the Bowerman, I would give it to these four gentlemen, because look, the A&T 4x4 is undefeated indoors and out, and they have not really been pressed, and they've won in dominant form. So like, I'm going to give them their props. I know they can't win. I don't care.
So who is your actual Bowerman Award winner, and who are the other two, hopefully, people on the dais?
No, I've amended. There's actually only one other person, but I'm going to pick Javon Harrison in the long jump for second, and Javon Harrison in the high jump for first.
Oh my gosh.
Because the things that he's done in the high jump, which were almost always after the long jump, are ridiculous. So yeah, my Bowerman Award winner is Javon Harrison, and like, I will never ever disrespect that man ever again by saying he's not a Bowerman guy. He's the Bowerman guy. He should have been the Bowerman guy from the beginning of the year. And all praise. I'm very sorry, Javon, that I ever said anything other than Javon Harrison already has the Bowerman at his house, because he should.
All right. So
So it's only six. I cut my 3 to 6.
It's less humans than you had last time, I guess.
It's only 5, as a matter of fact. It's only 5.
Yeah, right.
Gosh.
I guess that's somewhat better. I'm sticking with what I said from the Ghosted show. You know, got to give respect, and Cole Hawker belongs on that dais. You know, multiple titles this year, fantastic season. Turner Washington, very, very, very close for me. In second.
Do it for real.
And you know, totally deserves the honor and should be on that stage, but it's Javon Harrison, and it's just the way that it is. Like, Javon Harrison did things this year that we've never seen and probably will never see again, and he's way too special to be ignored or to be disrespected in any way of not handing him that trophy in December. So Javon Harrison, Men's Bowerman Award winner.
And your picks are absolutely what my picks are. Those are my three finalists, and Mr. Harrison is the Bowerman winner.
I mean, the crazy thing about Mr. Turner's year is, like, he actually did something that Mr. Harrison didn't do. Like, he set a collegiate record. You know what I mean? Like it's nuts that his season isn't enough to win, because I don't think there's anything else he could do, right? There's only a shot title indoors, and then there's a shot and disc title outdoors. He won all three, set the collegiate record indoors. It's like he's looking at coach like, look, what else we got? He's like, well, what you did has been done before. What Javon Harrison has done has never been done before. Therefore, you got nothing.
You're losing to the cyborg. It is what it is.
Yeah, you're losing to the cyborg. It is what it is.
Well, staying on kind of this NCAA branch, let's take a little gander and have a I don't want to say short, but a conversation in regards to the Supreme Court ruling that was just revealed.
Clyde?
Yes.
I think we should let the man with the highest education.
Father of teams.
I see.
You know, the Cal graduate over there.
Yeah.
I have several words, but the two I want to use to start are words that we use a lot. Curb stomping. The NCAA as an entity has, I've been told, just north of 50 lawyers. And all of them got lined up and summarily smacked across the face by the Supreme Court. Because, look, they've been living a life since its inception, and let's be honest, they knew that. And finally, the Supreme Court was like, yeah, no. You can no longer define your business by saying, if you change the way we do business, then we can't do business that way anymore. Because that is basically the argument they were making. Like, if you change the way we see amateurism, then we can no longer function the way we function, and therefore you will change the way we function forever. And the NCAA is like, yeah, exactly, because you've been functioning illegally for north of 50 years.
The Supreme Court.
I'm sorry, the Supreme Court. And I thought it was like, I thought it was spectacularly succinct, right? Like, I think that the NCAA thought that they were going to get into a, verbal rigmarole, and the Supreme Court was like, nah, this is pretty clean cut and dry. Like, you can't do this, and you can't limit your employees' earning potential in any way, shape, or form.
For people who aren't nerds, who aren't Supreme Court nerds, who don't read the newspaper, just read the headlines, this is the only way that I can honestly, righteously describe just like only this case, only this argument by the NCAA could foster a unanimous decision from this court. These people
Yes.
don't agree on anything. Right, left, Bush, Obama, Trump appointees. Look, those people all stood up and had the exact same viewpoint of this case, which is your argument is ridiculous. It's laughable. Get out of
Yep.
our court with this nonsense.
Yep.
And honestly, it was kind of glorious to watch. I don't know what the long-term fallout of all of this means. I'm sure it means many, many things. But what I do love and appreciate, and honestly am a little in awe of, is that the court unanimously ripped the mask off of this fraudulent idea that we currently call amateurism. And I am very much interested to see what comes next from state legislatures, what comes next from the NCAA governing body, what the new business model has to look like, because what was made abundantly clear is that the way things are currently being done, it's just not right. And we all understand this. And I'm sure that this decision has a lot of people very, very scared about their personal futures. And I get that. And respectfully, that's probably a very righteous fear that a lot of people are having off of this. But it was the right decision. And there's nothing other that you need to understand about whether it was right or whether it was wrong, is that these judges who don't agree on anything all agreed on this. So the ball is in the NCAA's court to get their house in order and come up with a different business model that reflects some form of reality. And I'm here for it. And I'd love to see what happens next.
Well said, gentlemen. I don't have a lot to add to that. I'm just going to say they got it right in the courtroom. Let's see where we are, a year or so from now as we move forward. Let's see how the NCAA responds and if they'll do the right things.
I mean, it's very interesting because they have essentially made student athletes free agents, A, and B, they have essentially made it almost impossible for the NCAA to govern the way they currently, like the model for them has to literally be blown up and rewritten, because this ruling makes a great number of their current rules and practices null and void.
I'm sure there may be an appeal behind this somewhere.
Almost certainly.
Like I said, let's see where we are a year or two from now.
Well, I loved, quick note, I loved the email that I got like rapidly after that, and stating, this is what the Supreme Court ruled, blah, blah, blah. We will wait for further instruction from the conference. I'm like, from the conference? We're going to filter it there too. Holy sheesh. Yeah. So I think it's going to be, yeah, I agree. Very, 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 very interesting to see how this kind of filters through the air.
Yeah.
So going more global, as Father of Teens has made it very much a theme this week, talking about world athletics and the ranking system that they have in place in regards to how said athletes, specifically this weekend for us, or over the last few days, I should say, and this weekend, for the games. Can somebody please state loosely what's going on right now? I know, take a loose off.
Oh no, we're gonna let the boss, head man in charge. We're gonna let him explain this away.
Okay, so and it's actually it's complicated, but it's not. And I think that the problem is that reading is fundamental, and the governing body of our sport, whatever their alphabet soup name is these days, they put this out a while ago. This is not something that popped up last week and nobody really paid attention to it. And so I think the problem you have is that everybody's misconstruing the whole thing. And it's like, so if in order for you to qualify for the games, you have to have the standard. If you don't have the standard, then you have to be at a certain point in the rankings. It's just pretty simple. So in the case in our trials, let's say if the third placer doesn't have the standard and the fourth placer does, the fourth placer doesn't automatically go unless the third placer is not high enough up in the rankings.
Now, see, that sounds simple,
And
but
it
it's
is.
kind of not. And look, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't understand it because I'm a nerd and I do. But I have two trains of thought on this. 2 years ago, I think it was, when USA Track and Field came into the room and explained how this would work to the coaches, it wasn't very clear at the time. There were a lot of questions. There was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of confusion. And even though, you know, I could see how it made sense, there was a lot of words and a lot of people left the room not fully understanding. And then COVID hit, and it's like everybody kind of forgot about it.
Not kind of, forgot.
So I have two issues with this particular reality. One is, I think our governing body, USA Track and Field, this is one of these things where like it should have been over communicated and bird dog to the point where if you had to give people a piece of paper that says, you know, not a flip snack that you can't barely read on the internet, but like hand them a piece of paper with their credential that says, here is how this works, like a flow chart. It should have been over communicated because there was a lot of confusion from coaches and athletes. But that's not my real issue with it. My real issue in this lies with world athletics and the fact that this thing even exists in the first place. Because let's be very, very clear about this. The way you compile world rankings has some to do with your ability to run, jump, and throw, but it mostly is determinative about where you do that, which is a bunch of nonsense. It's a bunch of BS. 10 flat is 10 flat is 10 flat. And if I run 10 flat at the Florida relays, the scoring table gives me X amount of points. But if I run 10 flat at a Diamond League race somewhere, I get the same amount of points, but now I get bonus points because World Athletics has determined that that event is somehow more valuable than the one I ran it at, which means that the true power with the rankings lies with agents and meet directors, not with athletes and their level of performance. And that should not be determining who makes teams and who gets invitations to world championships and Olympic Games, because we all know the opportunities to compete at said level of competitions ain't equal, and it never has been, and it never will be. So if we're going to be using world rankings to determine people's invitation levels to the games and whatnot, fine. Then make the system completely fair across the board and just associate points to performance and eliminate these bonus points for being in one meet versus the other, because that's the true fallacy of the system.
Yeah, well, I think we beat that horse a while ago. I was just trying to explain how you qualify. I'm not going to go into how idiot of a system it is.
Yes.
I was asked to explain how it works. That's how it works. If you want to take that up with your boy Sebco, then I will let you do that. But, I don't know him that well, maybe.
So
yeah, I mean, like I want to explain. I want to explain this like so that like, you know, a guy under a rock will understand this. Okay, to Clyde's point, because of the way the meets are ranked, Randolph Ross's 43.85 world lead at the NCAA championships is worth less than a second place in the Diamond League where you run 45.20.
Hell, make it simpler than that. Make it simpler than that. Randolph Ross's 43-7 is less valuable than his 44-7 that he ran a week later at the trials.
It's 43-8.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
43.85. Yeah,
It's a second difference.
for sure.
The one that's a second slower is more valuable to his ranking.
For sure.
That makes no sense at all.
And he got third in that race as opposed to winning. For sure.
Exactly.
I am not going to disagree with you.
No, that was an explanation because I think a lot of casual fans won't understand all that.
My good friend, dear friend, Big League, to explain the qualifying procedure. That's what
Okay. Well,
I didn't realize that I was going to get beat up upon because I didn't.
No, you're not. You're not. The system is.
I'm joking.
I'm not mad at you. And here's for the for the casual viewers, what it used to be was, and correct me if I get this wrong, I don't think that I will. If you go to the Olympic trials in America, we don't care about your rankings. We don't care if you're number one in the world. We don't care if you're the world record holder. You have to come here and be first, second, or third, or you go home.
Right.
And that's what's great about our system. However, in the old way, if you were if you somehow, and this stuff ends up in the field events, right? It would never happen on the track for the most part, but
in the sprints anyway.
Right, well, at least in the sprints, right? So let's say you come to the Olympic trials and you're second place, but you haven't jumped high enough throughout your season to have the Olympic standard. Under the old system, number one would go because they had the ranking and they beat you. Number three would go even though you beat them, but they had the standard. And number four would go even though you beat them, but they had the standard. See, that was very simple. Your place mattered if you had the standard. Now it's your place matters if you have the standard or the proper ranking. And I think, Sir Lucious, where a lot of people, where it's definitely unclear, even still right now, is which one supersedes which? Does the standard supersede the ranking, or does the ranking supersede the standard?
At the U.S. Olympic trials, what matters most is place.
Right.
So
1, 2, 3 is still our standard.
No, throughout. So if you are fifth and somebody who is third does not have the standard, but they will make the meet based on their world ranking, they're going to the meet. The fifth placer is not going to get in that case.
Right.
So it's still like, as far as our trials goes, it helps the person that doesn't have the standards at that point if they have enough of ranking points.
Right. So who that system truly really hurts the most, interestingly enough, ironically enough, is the collegians.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely would have no type of world ranking.
It doesn't hurt them if they've got the standard. Most of the collegians have the standard, so it doesn't hurt the collegians. There's not a collegian that's part of this conversation, right? Not one. No,
the only one I can think of off the top of my head is Michaela Hazelwood, and it's only because I know her. She was a discus thrower. She got second at the trials and doesn't have the standard.
Okay, well, so I didn't realize she was a collegian. But she's the only one.
No. She's a post collegiate. That's what I'm saying. She just
he said it hurts the collegians. And it doesn't hurt.
No, I'm saying in theory, because as a collegiate, you're never going to run in a meet.
You can't say it hurts them in theory when it's not hurting anybody.
But sir, you understand the point that I'm making. In theory,
I just disagree with the point because it doesn't hurt anybody. Because the collegians, for the most part, the collegians that make the Olympic team it's usually on the track, the ballistic stuff, they're going to have the standard.
But if we were talking about a field event situation, who did not have the standard, they obviously were never even in a position to run in a competition or jump in a competition where their ranking would get the appropriate amount of bonus points relative to their performance. That's all I was saying.
I'm just here so I don't get funked.
I was waiting for someone to say it.
Love that.
Waiting for it.
Love that.
Well,
but I hear what you're saying. I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's there are a lot of things it seems as if right now that are ready for a little bit of change. Let's
Can I-
say it
can I
that
s-
way.
Can I stick one more, because it just crossed my mind, one more shout out to somebody? Casey Lightfoot.
Yeah, forgot about the pole vault, didn't
Be-
we?
Because, and the reason I say that is because we all thought it was a no-brainer for him to go pro when he went pro, and then he was literally driving the struggle bus as a professional. Like no height in half of his professional meets, and it just was awful. And then that man figured it out on the day
Well,
that
see,
it mattered.
Here's my question. Was he riding the struggle bus or was he just following his coach's plan?
I can't. It can't be any coach's plan to take you to a meet to no height, though. That's not a plan,
Well, I mean, I don't know.
and that happened several times. So, like,
I'll
but the
give you
point
that
is,
part.
whatever it is, right? Like,
Yeah,
whatever it
they
is,
did, it worked.
he made the team, and I say, awesome to you, young man. Awesome to you. Sorry, that just crossed my mind. I wanted to make sure I gave him a shot.
The
Yeah,
men's
that's a
pole
very
vault team is
strong team.
It's a very strong team. You got Captain America in second place, and you got Nielsen in first. Like it's a very strong team.
You have 5 guys over 19 feet at the trials.
Right.
Never
I
happened.
think it took 18.4 to make the top 12. Remember, we used to think that 18 feet was high, right? I'm not gonna start that
Well,
again.
Well, I know 19 feet is high, and there's 2 people that ain't going to jump that at the trials, and you probably couldn't have paid them to believe that.
Right.
All right. Well, in a little bit of retro pay for last week, we're gonna have a dual rapid fire. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be like the carnival game. See who's gonna catch fire first. So,
Oh, geez.
Father of Teens, Teen Titans Go, is going to be in the seat as well as Sir Lucious. So bear with me as I navigate my questions here on my screen. But gentlemen, are your seatbelts on? You know what? Can I alter this a little bit? Because I was going to ping pong questions to
You can do whatever you want to do.
I'm going to have you both answer these questions.
Yes, that's exactly what should happen.
I didn't think about that. I was going to ping pong questions separately. Anyhow,
Okay.
I like, because you know why? Because I like this fat kid question that I'm about to ask for both of you.
I will defer to Sir Lucius to answer first on everyone because or where would you like to answer, first or last? That's my point. I want to defer to you.
Matter. I follow instructions well. So whatever Big League likes me to do, I'm gonna do.
You know what? That's fair. What would you like?
I'm not the renegade in the room, so.
I will call you out to
Okay,
see whose
love
question, whose answer I want first.
I will listen for my name. Love that.
My
All
man.
right. Sir Lucius,
Yes.
in the situation of brownies, are you eating an edge piece or a centerpiece?
Oh, we got to go for the center right away. Right away.
Teen Titans, what are we doing?
That is so funny because I am exactly the opposite. I'm for sure going for the corner piece immediately.
I love it. I love it. Okay. I can't ask that question now. It doesn't apply to both of you. Father of Teens, what food did you request for Father's Day? If at all.
Oh, I'm a steak and shrimp guy.
Got it. Sir Lucius.
Actually, Coach Nick Peterson helped me order it, get the Domino's pizza delivered for Father's Day this year. That was my
Oh, break my heart. Did you splurge for a couple toppings at least?
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be pepperoni and sausage or it doesn't work. Yeah.
That is, oh my goodness.
Sir, you're in Eugene, not Domino's. Mezzaluna or Tracktown?
Tracktown.
Mezzaluna is better.
Okay, I'll keep that
It
in mind.
is.
But
I haven't had that one.
Mezzaluna is good.
I go with what I know.
I was just gonna say it's.
Before you leave, Mezzaluna.
All right.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I won't answer that question. I got shot down last week for that one. Sir Lucius, what type of flower are you gonna buy for your wife on any given day?
I'm a rose guy.
Any
Roses
particular
just-
color?
It depends. It could be red or yellow. But I think roses, and doesn't have to be a special occasion. I just like to send roses, but just because.
Very nice of you. Father of teens, yourself, sir.
Either a rose or a bird of paradise.
Got it. Looking at these questions, who are you taking in the NBA finals now? Father of teens.
I think they're a team of destiny somehow. I guess I'm going to pick the Suns.
Got it. Sir Lucious.
Like, I would never have picked them before, but watching them play.
So I'm gonna have to ask, because I really have been a little bit preoccupied. Who are the Suns playing right now?
The Clippers.
Clippers going clip.
I'm never rooting for those guys. So that's just even if I thought they were gonna win, I'm not rooting for them. So
the Suns are playing the Clippers.
I'm gonna go old school. I'm just gonna ride with the Milwaukee Bucks just because I've been a Bucks fan forever. So back to the Lou Alcindor days. So.
Got it. I did like this question when I asked it last week. Playing tic-tac-toe, which box are you checking first? Sir Lucious, I liked your answer.
I'm going to the middle every time. Going to the middle, and depending on who I'm playing, but I'm going to go to the middle.
Like it. Father of teens.
I want to meet the person that's not picking the middle, and I also want to play them in tic-tac-toe for large amounts of money. If you go first and don't pick the middle, if you go first and don't pick the middle box, I'm confused.
That's the strategy. You're thrown off already.
Exactly.
Last but not least, you're at the movie theaters. What snacks do you have to have? Father of teens.
Unfortunately, because my body doesn't always like this, but I must, without question, have popcorn. And I would say at least 8 out of 10 times, I probably would have to have a Sour Patch.
So your bill's $50. Got it.
Oh yeah, because there's a drink that goes with that, so it's at least like $58.50.
I'm a simple popcorn guy, and popcorn and a little drink, I'm good. No, all the other stuff's not necessary.
Just a greasy hand, you're good.
Like one of my most harrowing
popcorn
memories
has to be buttered, and it has to be buttered throughout. You can't just take the popcorn, put the butter on top.
No.
Little popcorn,
gotta layer it.
Popcorn, right? I need somebody behind the counter that understands what they're doing, because if not, I'm coming back in a little bit. I want more butter.
Yes, no question about it. You are 100% correct there.
Yep. I love it. Well, those are my questions, Clyde. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Oh boy.
So, Mr. Chu, I need to know.
Here we go.
One question for the both of them, or 2 questions because there's 2 of them?
Oh.
I'm going to say you have to stick with my format and you get 1 that matches the 2.
All right. So I'm going to give y'all a choice. You have, I want to know from the opening weekend of the trials, who either did the best coaching job or the worst coaching job. You can choose your answer.
Terrible. So I'm going with the best coaching job, Dennis Mitchell, hands down. I'm done.
I mean, you just asked a boring question because I'm going to pick best because I'm not going to go. I'm not petty. I'm not going to go worst and shoot down coaches who already feel bad. All right. and if I'm going to pick the best coaching job, I'm almost certainly going to pick Dennis, because why would you not at this point? I mean, there were other coaches that did a great job. Listen, no question about that.
Oh, look,
I mean,
Adrian Florial had a great weekend. 3-4 in the 100. Short hurdle winner. Yeah, so he gets
there were options.
Yeah,
you both pick Dennis. That's cool.
Yeah,
I like it. That was fun.
I mean, I'll say this. You know what? I'll give a different answer. I will say Dwayne Ross.
He did a good job. Yeah, 200 400-meter finalists and finalists in the young ladies in the women's short hurdles as well. Yeah. Yep. And a semifinalist in the men's 100.
And the women's. Yep.
Man, oh man. All right. Well, thank you so much for playing. Thanks for playing along with the new variety show of Rapid Fire. But as always, we will go ahead and wrap up with our heartbeat props, where we just like to give a little shout out to those who deserve it while they're here to hear it. So anybody jump in to go first?
I'm gonna jump out and go easy. Collegiate athletes, collegiate coaches who've had to be out here for as long as we've had to be out. God bless each and every one of you.
Oh, that's funny. I'll go if that's okay, Sir Clyde. Mine is very similar. Look, when it comes to the Olympics, I am very nostalgic, and it's probably because I was an Olympian and I know how hard this stuff is. My heartbeat props go to every single Olympic trials athlete. May you find a way to leave here, whether you make the team or not, with the positivity that you deserve, right? Like, our trials are also one of the hardest meets on the planet to make. And being here is a huge accomplishment. And so my heartbeat props go out to every single person who is competing in the trials. And I wish that they all leave there with PRs, good health, and a positive outlook on the fact that they were participants in the 2021 U.S. Olympic trials. Keep your bib number.
Forever.
Oh, I would hope that they do.
Yeah, but you don't understand. People get mad. It didn't go the way they want, and they tear it off and throw shoes away and do all those things. And I get it. Listen,
yeah,
I get
that.
Oh, Chew gets it because we've heard the story about people throwing bowling balls in the river.
There you go.
My heartbeat props go to Jabri Harris. He's a friend of mine, and you'd be hard pressed to find a human being that had a better weekend this weekend in totality than Jabri Harris. Okay, first of all, his athlete Isaiah Jewett just gives a utterly gutsy, mentally tough performance for the ages. It was really, really fun to watch. But if you know, and that kid's been talented for a long time, but to see I can't think of any other athlete in the NCAA where there's a more distinct, this coach put this onto this kid transformation. And that is brilliant work by Jabri. And like I said, it was inspiring. It was fun to watch. But that boy also got himself a big time promotion under the new regime at USC, under the directorialship of Quincy Watts. Props to Quincy for that job. Jabri was also named the associate head coach running the distance programs for USC and head of cross country. So Jabri, you've been on the grind a long time, my guy. Love seeing the culmination of all your efforts come into focus. Bravo, sir. And we are all chasing your example. Much props to you, my man. Do your thing.
Nice. I'll make sure he sees that. Last but not least is myself, and I am currently in West Liberty, Ohio, at a track camp, and props to Ann Vole and her squad at West Liberty Salem. The girls team, were the Division III state champions this year. And I've got a glimpse into her program and what they do and the culture that she's has been cultivating. She's been here for almost 30 years, if not. And, she has not settled for mediocrity. She keeps just trying to get better. And that was part of her bringing the camp to her school this year and bringing out-of-state coaches in to stir the pot a little bit. And we got a little sticky today, and having to say, just because it's comfortable doesn't mean that it's right. And she heard it with open ears and was willing to listen to what was being said and whatnot. So Props to her and her squad for doing what they do already and challenging themselves to be even better going forward. So those are my props for the week. But thank you. Thank you all to you gentlemen for being here. Clyde and Sir Lucious for taking time out of your busy schedule and your workcations, as I've seen them put on social media. I don't know if I believe that one. Is it a workcation?
No, no such thing.
Man. Well, thank you so much all for your time. This one will be going on the internet because you will see it and you will hear this. Because if it doesn't, I swear, I don't even know. But other than that, have a great week. Enjoy weekend 2 of the trials. And we will be back next week to talk about all of it and to hear about this final team that we are conjuring up. Thanks, guys. Good night.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth pin them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place to appeal to go further. Hey, Wally, Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these 4 corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.